Let me talk a little bit about variety, training variety, because today I was going to do back and biceps and some pull for upper body, but I didn't really, when I did my pushing for this week, when I did my pushing day, because I'm doing like generally like 2 body parts a week. When I did my pushing workout this week, I didn't really go super hard. I did more of a lighter workout. So today I'm kind of feeling like doing chest and back like I have for a while, but I haven't done it recently. So I'm looking to mix things up, and I wanted to talk about that kind of like shock value, that kind of random, that kind of what do you feel like doing in the moment? What is your body saying? And when you should be listening to this and when you should not be listening to this. So everyone throws around the term muscle confusion. It was popularized by P90X about 10, 15 years ago. And it got kind of like over popular, and which is what really spurred the real explosion of CrossFit and these kind of like random training gyms and random group exercise classes. That's what really like exploded that whole scene, because people started thinking that, okay, muscle confusion or training variety, which is what it is, adding a different stimulus to the environment, whether it's a different type of exercise or it's a different adjustment for a training variable, whether it's shorter rest periods or exercise selection, exercise order, the weight you're using, the repetition scheme, the training volume, the training frequency, all these other ways to create variables in a workout. People kind of took that to an extreme and started making it random all the time. You're doing random exercise. Every time you go to the gym, you're doing completely different things, completely different exercise, completely different workouts. And we replaced, generally as a society, we replaced adding training variety with just variety, period. And because I think of social media, because of this type of quick cycling of content and the kind of shorter attention spans that we've procured over time from like the birth of electronics and video games and stuff in the 80s and 90s, really when it took off, and to now where we just don't really have any kind of attention span whatsoever. It's got to be fast, pop, 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 pop. So we're used to having this overstimulus and changing all the time. So we're seeing tweets, we're seeing posts, we're just scrolling. So now we change things up too much, and that can be a detriment to your progress. And I want to talk about it from that aspect. Training variety is great, and but I want to talk about the reason why we add variety to the training. And this comes down to your goals. In general, you don't want to add more variety and change the stimulus up and change what you're doing if you're seeing progress. This is usually a method of avoiding plateaus. And what a plateau is, a decreased period of progress, whereas your body has adapted to the stress that has been put upon it. And that people don't really understand what plateaus are or how to really accurately judge a plateau. It's like, I haven't lost weight, I haven't lost fat in a week, or in 2 weeks, I'm in a plateau, or I haven't gained strength in a week, I'm in a plateau. Plateaus don't happen that fast. Your body makes little adjustments, positive and negative, all the time. It's like the stock market. You have days where the stock market goes down, then goes up a lot, and then goes down a lot, and then goes up a lot. Over 10 years, it might look like a steady increase, but from day to day or month to month, it's kind of up and down, up and down. So you're doing that all the time with body weight, with strength, with emotions, all these different things. It's not that you don't just go up. You don't just make progress continuously just because you're working out. It's not like you earned the ability to just always make progress. That's not how it works. You have to provide your body with the overload, with the stimulus, and then you have to give your body a chance to adapt. You have to be consistent. The more consistent you are with this type of approach, with your training application, the more consistent you are, the adaptations you'll make. So if you're doing hypertrophy variables, you're doing moderate reps to close to failure, you're doing more volume, you're doing more training frequency per week, you are going to, over the long term, if you're eating properly and resting properly, you'll build more muscle. If you do more endurance type exercise, you'll build more endurance. If you do more cardiovascular type training, you'll build more cardiovascular benefits and cardiovascular adaptations. And if you're doing all of them, you might get a little bit in all of them, but you won't excel in any one area. You'll kind of get a little bit of some benefits, but you won't necessarily excel with physique or excel with strength or excel with endurance. You'll kind of dabble, and those are a little bit more higher risk, and you can't go quite as intense on each one, and you're not going to make as much progress in each one because your body likes to specify. Your body likes to specify in terms of how much progress you want to make. We're oftentimes doing too much variety in our training and having these altruistic expectations where we think we're going to get amazing results in each single category. It doesn't work like that. Your body will excel wherever you put the most effort. If you're spreading your effort wide, you might get some skills in all areas, but you're not going to excel per se in any one specific area. Focus more on mobility, you'll get a lot more mobility. Focus a lot on strength, you get a lot more strength. But you focus on strength and mobility, the mobility can assist your strength, but if you're splitting it 50-50, you need to give a lot of your attention to one of these areas. So the more you add to your spectrum of training, the more you're going to be diluted. And people are changing their variety up too much. You're doing too much random shit. You need to give your body a chance to adapt. And just doing something for 3 weeks, the famous thing about P90X was every 3 or 4 weeks, it changed the type of stimulus, the order of the exercises, which is fine. That's great. But then it got people thinking that you needed to change every 3 weeks. It kind of got people into thinking you have to change every day or every week, or every workout couldn't be the same. You go and you do chest, you have to change up what you're doing for chest every week. You're going for legs, you have to change your leg workout up every week. You're going to see much more progress if you do the same shit for weeks and months in a row. It doesn't have to change every 3 weeks. It doesn't have to change every 2 months, especially if you're seeing progress, and especially if you're taking what you're doing and just enhancing it with some subtle changes. Now, that's where it gets a little bit tricky, because variety is good. Adding in this little shock, adding in these little tweaks are good, but it doesn't have to be that much. It doesn't have to be an entirely different workout. It doesn't have to be an entirely different selection of exercises. All you need to do is add another set. All you need to do is maybe shorten up the rest periods. Maybe you need to just add in, let's say, like a drop set or a superset, or you change the order of the exercises that you are already doing. You don't need to, if you're doing squats, lunges, Romanian deadlifts, and hip bridges, you don't have to do fucking sprinting up a hill and then squat jumps and then all these different things. You can do the same exercises and just change the order. Do the lunges first, then do the hip bridges, then do the squats, then do the RDLs. Like, you can change the order, and that's a lot of shock. You don't realize in your brain, it doesn't seem like you're changing that much, which is why people overchange. Does that make sense? A lot of people overchange and add over, I'm just making shit up, but over variety, too much variety. People get addicted to doing too much variety. People get addicted to how different their workout is. And then it gets into that delusion where the more random it is, the better it is, or the more effective it is, or I've never done these exercises in my life, this is going to be better for me. Your body's going to get a shock, but it's not going to adapt to that type of training unless you expose it to that type of training for an extended period of time. That's what we call the alarm reaction. That's what we call the shock aspect. So if you never go sailing and you go sailing, all of a sudden, your calves and your legs and all these stabilizer muscles from stabilizing, from holding ropes, your forearms might be sore, your shoulder, your back, different stabilizers that you never work are going to be sore because you're on a boat, and you're never on a boat and you never go sailing. So all of a sudden, this is going to be different for you. All of a sudden, it's going to be a whole new stress. All of a sudden, this is going to be all these different coordination and muscles that are working together are going to be working that they never have before. So you're going to be sore from sailing, but it doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're going to be adapted to that. You need to be doing that a couple times a week, for example, or let's say you go sailing every week, and then your muscles will adapt, and then your muscles will start to be able to handle it and you won't feel as sore. That's how it works. That's literally how it fucking works. Your body needs to adapt. It needs time to adapt. So if you're changing shit every couple days or every day or every workout, you're just shocking your body, but you're not providing your body with that kind of shock regularly enough to get the adaptations from that adjustment. So it's important to add adjustment, but with consistency. Change it up, but keep it that way for a couple weeks. At least. You can increase the weight. You can increase the difficulty. Those of you that get bored, you say you're getting bored in the gym. It doesn't matter if you're getting bored. It doesn't really matter. You need to do what works. And some exercise you're going to do, you have to forget which exercise you like or dislike, because some exercises work and you need to do them. You need to do the ones that are the most effective. And the most effective exercise, 99.9999 out of whatever 100 million, whatever that is, it's going to be the basics. It's going to be the basic fundamental exercise for a human. Now, there are subtle changes. Maybe you like to squat with your heels elevated more. Maybe you like to do narrow squats or wide squats or dumbbell squats, but a squat is something that every human being should be training. Your variety of the squat, the one that you feel the most, the one that activates it the most for you, That's why there's different exercise, but a squat is great. There's just 100 different varieties and different pieces of equipment you can use to do a squat, that kind of compound movement. Same thing with the row, same thing with the press. There's a lot of different ways you can tweak that, but it's important that you hunt down and figure out which one works best for you. Thanks for watching, fam. Make sure to subscribe to the Daily Swole podcast on YouTube so you can catch the live streams every single day.